good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Mate Suzanne. Welcome to another Facebook Live. Again, that's depending on what time you're watching this video. So today, this is something that I had already covered in the past video, and this is about the reacting versus responding. So just to continue on to the, I'm just going to cover that again, because every day we deal with different people, right? And as much as we want to be dealing with just the nice people, there would be occasions where we kind of, for whatever reason, there would be people who are not very nice, and then there would be people, and this is also especially true when we're dealing with family, relatives, and stuff, right? Because there are people who are, I guess they have a choice whether they want to be nice, but I guess for some people it's hard work to be nice, right? And then you would get comments, like some comments which are sometimes can get very hurtful, right? So the thing, like, that's when you get to practice your reacting versus responding thing, right? The thing is, for the ones, like, we have that, sometimes we have certain people in our life where, for whatever reason, whenever they say something to us, we always get affected. We always react, right? But then what happens is after we react, we get all these negative emotions, right? But then the thing is, like, when we react and then we're releasing all these negative emotions, like, we're being negative inside, what happens is, we always attract back to us whatever we're feeling. So we don't want to be attracting all the negative things by being in that negative state, right? So what we can do is we can always choose to respond, right? Because the thing is, like, when you let them get to you, you don't win. First of all, you get upset, and then secondly, you might end up doing something that you will probably regret later, right? And just an example, right? I always tell this to my son because he's got this friend, like, some, like, every now and then they'd get into a verbal fight, right? Because this kid, like, this other kid, he's a smart mouth. He's very good with insults. And then my son is always, he always gets affected. He says that every time this kid, says something to him, it always affects him very deeply and very negatively, right? And then so I always have to remind my son, right? I always tell him, he who gets angry loses, right? So because the thing is, like, okay, when they fight, who ends up crying? My son, just because he's reacting to what this other kid is saying, right? And to think they're friends, they're like, one is 11, one is 10, right? So they are still kids. So I'm kind of, from a very young age, I'm like really training my son to learn how to respond instead of reacting. Just because when you're reacting, you're not really thinking. Because what happens is this: when someone says something to you and it's not true, why would you react, right? If someone tells you I don't know, like, you have blue hair or something, and it's not true. You have, like, whatever color of hair you have other than blue, right? I mean, you would just look at them like they have two heads or something because they don't know what they're talking about. So same thing when they're telling you something that's not true, when they're telling you something about yourself that is not true, because you have a clear definition of who you really are, right? It's not going to affect you. Even if they tell you, they think you're this, they think you're that, like, all these negative things, forget it. I mean, if you know for yourself that you are not that person, that's why it's very important that you have, it's very important that you have a clear description of who you really are and the kind of person that you really want to be, right? And then, just really, with constant repetition, just keep reading that every day, constantly throughout the day. And, just and just be that person. And then if you know that you are that person, no matter what anyone says to you that are negative, no matter what anyone says to you that doesn't really match your description of who you really are, it should not affect you. So there's no reason for you to react, right? And the way you would respond to that, and the way you would handle that would be to respond to it instead, right? So here's the thing. Okay, when you're reacting, you're letting the circumstances control you. But when you're responding, you are in control of your thoughts, and at the same time, the circumstances that will arise, right? Because think of this, when you picture two people fighting, they are fighting because one of them reacted to what the other person did, right? Because the thing is, like, if only one person is getting mad at the other and the other one is smartly just responding, there would not even be a fight, just because the person who's responding would know how to handle the situation, and then there would be no fight. But then if one person did something and then the other one reacted to it, and then the other person reacted to the way that the other person is reacting, of course there would be a fight, right? So there's so many good things that will come out of responding. So instead of reacting, stop for a second and think and respond. You might want to, I don't know, count to 5 or something before you actually do something, because that way it gives you that time to respond instead of just reacting without even really thinking about it. Because when you react, you lose control, you go the wrong way, and things will be rough. And then on the reverse side of that, when you respond, you are in control, and then things will be smoother. And okay, so the thing is this, the choice is you either go through life reacting to everything and be unhappy, or you can choose to train yourself to respond and have the outcome you'll be happy with, right? So you decide at the end of the day which way you're going to live. Okay, so that's all I want to share with you today. I hope I didn't go too long on this. Yeah, so if you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comments below. And feel free to visit my page at yourdreamsareworthit.com. So that's it for today. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching, and have a safe weekend. See you next time. Bye for now.